Some objects on Earth shouldn't exist, not in history, not in reality. And yet, you can see them in a museum today. The problem is, no one can fully explain how they were made, and the deeper you go, the worse it gets. Deep beneath the sands of Egypt, hidden inside narrow underground tunnels, there are massive granite boxes weighing over 100 tons each. Not built in parts, not assembled. Each one carved from a single block of stone. But that's not the disturbing part. The inside of these boxes is polished so precisely, so perfectly flat, that even modern machines struggle to replicate it. The angles are exact, the corners are sharp. Engineers measured them and found tolerances so small they shouldn't exist without advanced tools. And yet, these were made thousands of years ago, in tunnels so tight there's barely space to stand. Or no machinery, no room to move, no clear method, and still, they're perfect. So here's the question no one can answer. How do you build something like that, where it physically shouldn't be possible? And that's just the beginning. Because what was found in the ocean changes everything. In 1901, divers pulled up what looked like a useless chunk of corroded metal from a shipwreck. It sat untouched until it cracked open. And inside, gears. Dozens of them, perfectly cut, interlocking, not random, not decorative, functional. This object, now called the Antikythera mechanism, could track planets, predict eclipses, and calculate cycles with insane accuracy. In other words, it was a computer, built over 2,000 years ago. Let that sink in. A computer, before machines even existed. And here's where it gets worse. And technology at that level disappears from history for over 1,000 years. So what happened? Where did that knowledge go? Now this changes everything, because in Iraq, something even more impossible was found. A simple clay jar, small, forgettable, until scientists rebuilt it. Inside a copper cylinder, an iron rod, add liquid, and it produces electricity. Not theory, not speculation, real current. This is the Baghdad battery, and it predates modern electrical discovery by over 1,500 years, which means one thing. Someone knew, maybe not everything, but enough to create power. So the real question is, what else did they understand that we've completely lost? And it gets worse. Because in Bolivia, there's a site that looks like it was cut by machines. Massive stone blocks, but not rough, not primitive, perfect, straight lines. Sharp angles, complex shapes that lock together like precision engineering. This place is called Pumapunku. Some of the stone used is harder than steel tools, and yet it was cut cleanly, smoothly, precisely. The quarry is miles away, the terrain is brutal. There's no evidence of advanced transport, and still, these stones were moved, shaped, and placed with insane accuracy. So how do you build something like that without the tools to do it? Now it gets even stranger. Inside an ancient Egyptian tomb, archaeologists found something that doesn't look ancient at all. It looks mechanical. The Sabu disc, a thin stone object with curved blades, almost identical to a modern pump component. Engineers recreated it, tested it, and it worked. It moved fluid exactly like a real mechanical device. But here's the problem. The material it's made from is fragile, it breaks easily, it shouldn't even survive the carving process. And yet it was shaped with perfect symmetry. So what are we looking at? A decoration? Or evidence of something far more advanced? And this is where it starts to feel impossible. Because in a museum today, you can see a glass cup that changes color. Not paint, not illusion. The glass itself, from green to deep red. This is the Lycurgus cup. Scientists eventually discovered the truth. It contains microscopic particles of gold and silver, so small they interact with light itself. This is nanotechnology, the same principle used in modern science. And yet, this was made over 1,600 years ago. No microscopes, no modern tools, just knowledge that shouldn't have existed. But it doesn't stop there. Because there's a map that might be even more disturbing. Created in 1513, showing parts of the Earth that hadn't officially been discovered yet. This is the Piri Reis map. Some believe it shows Antarctica long before anyone mapped it. Others say it's based on older, lost sources. Either way, it leads to one unavoidable question. How do you map something before you even know it exists? Now here's where it gets uncomfortable. In China, thousands of soldiers were buried underground to guard a tomb. But that's not the mystery. The weapons are. Blades buried for over 2,000 years. Still sharp, still shining, still intact. For decades, scientists couldn't understand why. They assumed advanced coatings, lost technology. But the truth is even more interesting. The metal composition, combined with the soil, created a preservation system so effective it outperforms many modern techniques, which means they didn't just create weapons. They created a system designed to last thousands of years. And then there's something even simpler, and somehow even more impossible. A pillar of iron standing in India for over 1,600 years, exposed to rain, heat, time, and it barely rusts. Modern science figured out part of the reason. A protective layer forms naturally. But here's the problem. We still struggle to recreate it exactly, even today, which means ancient metalworkers achieve something we don't fully understand. And just when you think it can't get stranger, it does. An underground temple in Malta, where sound behaves differently. Speak in a certain tone, and the entire chamber resonates. Not just echo, vibration, through your body, through your bones. Some researchers believe it can alter perception, affect the mind, change how you feel. Think about that. Structures designed not just to exist, but to influence the human experience itself. So now the question isn't just how, it's we. Why do all of these discoveries feel like fragments of something bigger, something we don't fully understand? Because this isn't about one object. It's a pattern. Knowledge appearing, disappearing, and then reappearing thousands of years later. We call it discovery, but maybe it's something else. Maybe we're not discovering anything at all, we're remembering.